Okay, this video's on filling out the service agreement. So you finish going through the proposal, and now they're ready to go ahead and move forward. And so you finish the proposal, you've gone through it with them, they've decided that they want, let's say, the 100 accounts and take the discount or whatever, take the $300 discount, let's just say as an example. So you say, okay, well, let's get you into the system real quick. And if you would, go to our website, cadarm.org. And of course, you're not doing a webinar again. You're just telling them to go. And I'm just showing you what it looks like on your end because I go there so I can help them fill it out. Click on client setup, and they click on that and then put in CAD 4968. And then typically it's a system. Now it could either be medical, dental, or retail commercial on step one. Let's just say this one's medical, and I have them, I just say, well, go ahead and click on that. And they click on it, and I go, and this is exactly what you're going to say to them as you have this fill out this thing, okay? And we'll get your user ID and password and all that for you later on the training. Go ahead and check new. I'm just going to go ahead and do this so you guys can see it. Check new, and they go, yeah. Even though you won't see it, they'll be doing it on their end. But this is what it looks like. And then we want you to type in the name of your company in there. So you said it was Dr. Clay Sanders, let's say, DDS or whatever. And I want you to make sure that this is the name that's on your statements that they get. So there's no discrepancy. So if it says Eastern Dental or something, they may say, well, I don't know who that is. So whatever name they're familiar with is the name, and the name that's on the statement is what you need to put in client name. And they say, okay, it's Dr. Sanders. Okay, great. Business description on this one, this is dental. Okay. And the date, you got 1/2/05/16. Okay. And then you put in your address, 500 Northwest Main. And this is where you want your money sent. Now, you can have it sent to a P.O. box, but most people do it to a street. And that's what you want, right? Okay, sweet. Whatever that is, put that in there. And then their city and all that. And they fill all this out. And you're not going to see it. Okay, so don't worry about it. I'm just showing you. And then they put the main number in. And then the call-in number could be a different number if it's a bigger clinic, I might say. So if you have a separate number for your billing department, then you can put that number in. If it's not, just put the same number in, and then put your fax number in, put your contact person, put the title of that person, which could be your office manager, or it could be yourself, and then your email address that we're going to communicate you with you on. No debtors get this. And then on this particular one, we're doing the basic setup. And so tell them to check the basic. And then in the first box, we decided on the 100. So you put in 100 in the very first box under terms. And the cost per account is 15. So put 15 in there, and it should put the dollar signs in, $15 per account. So the full system price before the discount that you've chosen is $1,500, and that'll put the $1,500 in there. Okay, great. Now you opted for the 20% discount, which is smart. So put the 20 in there before the discount sign. And 20% discount. What's the discount amount? Well, you just do the math. It's 300, 20%. So they put the 300 in there, and it'll put the dollar sign, and that makes the discounted full system price $1,200. Okay. So that's the way that needs to look. Now, if they decide that they want terms on it, and then there's no discount, this second line does not get filled out, but they're at 1,500, and they can choose from the drop down, half down, 30 and 60, third, fourth, whatever. Okay. And that determines that, but they need to do that. Then we go through, that's very important. This is filled out just like that, and they explain that to them. And then the program options. This is the one we talked about. Just say it's Anna. Anna, we talked about, we have a secondary phase. It's a company we partner with that handles the accounts that are really hardcore. The ones that refuse to pay you, and they refuse to pay us both. Okay. And Most people, it's an option. You just, if you check that box, then you're going to get an email 20 days before the thing transfer. So let's say you had 2 accounts that we're going to transfer over that we were unable to collect. You would get an email 20 days prior to the transfer, and you still have the ability to stop those accounts by going into the system, which will be shared with you in the training. So everybody signs up for this because they want to do everything that can legally be done. Now, this company that we partner with, there's no upfront fee. They're just a 50-50 split, but everybody tells me that 50% of something is better than nothing on these kinds of accounts. So I would suggest you check that. And so did you check it? Yeah. And then the option litigation, yeah, that could happen if there's a big enough account. And then you want credit bureau affecting as a last resort. So I always tell everybody, just go ahead and check those. It's very important that you want to use everything that you can. And once again, you can stop any account prior to that. Now we need your credit card information. So if you would type that in and just wait for them to type that in. Credit card number, expiration date, the 3 numbers on the back, and select which one it is. If it's Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, and they check that. Then it's real important after they put that in there to remind them, in the remarks section here, if the name on the card is different, the name and address on the card associated with the card is different than what's at the top, we need to have that. And usually it is a little different. A lot of times the name's different. So put the name there and the address if it's different that's associated with that card. All right, did you get that done? Okay, great. Now, if we have a free account incentive going on where they get 1 account for every 10, then you'd want to add that in the remarks section too. And you would put 10 free accounts due to the free account incentive program. Okay, so we're add 10 free accounts, and you tell them to type that in there. Okay, then I just tell them to go ahead. The rest of it, you can scroll down. It all should be filled out. Okay, and it is. Tell them to go ahead and print this out and then sign the bottom down there. And the submit form doesn't normally work because you have to be up to date with Adobe. So I just tell them to go ahead, if you would, sign it, and let's put it in the fax machine and fax it on over. And if they have to scan it, they can scan it after they sign it and send it to customer service at cadarn.org. But I always try to get them to fax it while I got them on the phone. And if you would, is it faxing? Great. And then here's my cell phone. I want to make sure that I'm here for you all the time. Give them your cell phone, and you can call me with any questions you have. And then somebody from client service will call you with your user ID and password and help you get some of those accounts in and give you instructions and everything. It's real simple. So I'm really looking forward to helping you guys. All right, great. Okay, and that's it. Now, if for some reason you might have somebody, I'm just going to go through this. We do have a monthly trial program, and sometimes on that monthly, I guess the time to use that is and it's in the proposal option. The time to use that is if you have somebody that's an office manager, let's say, that the only way that she's going to do it is she's going to take the proposal to the doctor. If she's really sold and she's excited, then you may not need to do the monthly trial option on there. But if she's not, then I would probably lean towards doing that so you get some kind of a sale. Okay, and let me show you what that looks like real quick. You have to go back to rep login, and it's CAD123. And so if you feel that that's the kind of proposal you need to put together because she's not that sold, then if it's the 200 to 500, then it looks like this. It's the basic monthly trial program, just filled out. It's just a little bit different. We just add another option at the bottom. There is no guarantee on it, but it's a good way for them to tippy-toe their way in. So if I know, look, if the doctor wants to just try us out, and it's a 3-month tryout, you guys, they have to do 3 months. So he can choose that, and you'll get a lot of those like that. It's 8 accounts a month for 3 months times 22, and then they can always move into the system. So the goal with this is to get them in, and then once they see the results, then 2 or 3 months down the road, you're going to move them into a system, okay, into a 100 or 250 account system. But at least this gets them to try the thing. Now, one thing that we are doing for the reps is if you do a monthly trial, we're going to give you an advance on those first 3 months, okay, because it does go on the credit card. So you'll get about $105 advance on those payments, okay. So like I said, this is a last resort. Now, so what do? Let's say you've presented that and they say, okay, I want to do the monthly trial. Then you're going to go back and you're going to go to client setup again, and you're going to do CAD 4968, and they go in there. Now you got to click on step 1, other, at the far right. You click on that, and if it's medical, we're going to do a monthly trial program. So let's click on that. You tell them to click on that, and it's a little bit different. Okay, and it'll come up here hopefully in a minute. And you fill everything out the same at the top. Then in this middle section under terms, client to submit 8 accounts initially and up to 8 accounts per month at 22. So you just tell them to put 8 in there and tell them to put 8 in there. Whoops. And of course you won't see it, but then the $22 per account, the initial invoice, and the other is 8 times 22. I think it's 176, and tell them to put that in. Okay. And then of course you do the second phase that we went through earlier, and make sure that you read through this monthly trial with them. It's really important they understand this because they are agreeing to do 3 months minimum. Client will submit the number of accounts as determined in the terms section of this agreement. The initial invoice amount will be debited from the credit card listed above, which will cover the cost of the initial number of accounts submitted. In addition, on the first of every month thereafter, the monthly invoice amount will be debited from the credit card listed above, which will cover the cost of the accounts submitted during that particular calendar month. There's no rollover accounts, so it's to the client's best interest to submit the full number of accounts during each calendar month, which is 8 on this particular program. At any time during any given month, they can submit in excess of those 8. So if they want to send in more than 8, they can send another 10 in, okay? And you're going to get your commission on those extra accounts every month, okay? So if they send in an extra 10, let's say they send in an extra 20 at $22 per account, then that's $440, and then you get your commission on it. So tell them to go ahead and send them in. And they have the right to cancel at any time after the initial counts and 2 subsequent months of accounts have been submitted on all accounts have been paid for in full. So it's 3-month minimum. The monthly trial will continue until they cancel in writing or by email. Notice of cancellation must be received before the last day of the month on any given month. And you can see, and you can read the rest of it to them. But you mainly want to read through this so they understand that they're doing it for 3 months. And then at that point, we're going to move you into a system so you get a better price per account, and then you have the guarantee and everything. And then you go through and same thing, everything should be filled out. Now, if you would, just go ahead and sign it and fax it over, and you tell them to fax it over, get it in the machine, 800-577-0293. Thanks, and here's my phone number. Somebody from customer service will be calling you with your user ID and password, help you get those initial accounts in, okay? All right, then that's great. So guys, this is it. That's basically it. Now, this isn't hard. Of course, you got the retail one too on the monthly trial if you run into somebody that's retail commercial that's not a medical group. Other than that, this covers getting the service agreement in and getting them set up, and then you go on to the next deal. Okay? All right, thanks for tuning in, and we will talk soon.